Welcome everyone to our next episode of Spotlight in Education here at San Benito Schools. Today's topic is going to be STAAR EOC assessment testing that we administer here at San Benito Schools. We want to welcome our guests to the panel, and of course we welcome back our Superintendent of Schools, Mr. Fred Bettis.
Thank you.
We have our board member representing our board, Mr. Israel Verial III.
Thank you, sir.
And we have our Assistant Superintendent for Academic Instruction, and that is Ms. Dina Cornett.
Thank you.
Welcome. And so, Mr. Bettis, it's this time of the year. The year has passed by, and we've already hit the point where we are leading up to testing, or STAAR testing across the district. And so, what plans, what is the focus that we have district-wide when it comes to getting ready for these tests?
I'd say it starts in the summer. It actually really started in the summer. A lot of our planning, a lot of our breaking down of what we're going to do this year for our students so they can be successful. And so they can be successful in their classes. This is just a way for us to measure what TEKs, we have made sure that our students have, covered and learned. Of course, we're a public school, so we're required to take these assessments. It can be stressful. This is going to be a stressful time of the year for our administrators, for our teachers. They know that the test is coming, but I think they're ready. A lot of our dedication, a lot of the work that has gone into this, just from our mini assessments and a lot of the information that I'm being given, the students are ready. We're going to see growth, and these kids are they're going to be all right.
Going to be ready for it. And so, Mr. Verial, as a board member, what kind of support is necessary for our students, number one, and then also our staff that is teaching our students, administering the tests, the pre-tests that we'll also take, and then also what kind of support do we offer our parents for STAAR testing?
Okay, as a board member, it's important for us to make sure that the directors, the superintendent and his team, and the entire district has the resources and the tools they need in order to deliver a successful preparation for testing leading up to the test. And for parents, I think it's important that you follow the guidelines for put out by the school district. Making sure that our kids are getting plenty of rest, they're getting fed, and we provide all of that too. And the school also puts certain guidelines during testing to ensure a smooth process for the students. That way they're not, the test is stressful enough. And so we want to make them as comfortable as possible so that they can go in there and focus on the test.
Just great. And so as a board, I'm sure that the resources are set forth at the beginning of the year. And so but it's also a year-long process that not only the board, but also the administration needs to take in order to ensure our staff is ready, and our students, and of course our parents are ready as well. So thank you. So Ms. Cornett, we reached the milestone of this academic year, and so we know that the support services that we've offered through academic services are in place, and how do we support our students, our staff, and our parents in the weeks leading up to testing?
Well, I'm going to go ahead and reiterate, as Mr. Pettis mentioned, the work started back in the summer. As soon as our administrators come in, we start off by providing professional development and training. So our director for assessment, Ms. Abrego, is going to go ahead. She went over the entire assessment. It's important that our administrators know what's being evaluated and how they're being evaluated. And so how this translates so that they know how to prepare our students and our teachers for student success. And then we also start disaggregating all the data, and identify what are the things that we're doing really well, where are those areas throughout our district so we can tap into that talent. And then we start identifying the gaps, and we start providing professional development. And then throughout the year, as Mr. Pettis also alluded to, was we look at the data throughout the year. It's not a one-time thing. We look at data throughout the year, and then we have our directors for academics, who Ms. Atkinson and Ms. Fernandez, who are going to go in and they review that data, and they go ahead and work with individual campuses to provide the support that is needed to help close those gaps throughout the year. Some of the things that we've done this year that are a little bit different in that aspect, going back to the best PD is the teacher down the hallway. The instructional coaches have been going out to campuses and recording teachers teaching, especially targeting some of those TEKs that we know are some of our low performing areas, so that our other teachers have a resource bank. And so the Educator Exchange, it's like a little mini library for teachers by our own teachers. We have a wealth of talent in our district, and so we want to tap into that. There's no need to recreate the wheel. The other thing that they've done is also worked on creating a network and facilitating that process where teachers are able to come together and work together and learn from each other. And we've gotten very positive feedback. They've really appreciated that time and that opportunity. Then we also work on providing resources based on how our students are performing for special needs, for our special populations, using the embedded supports and making sure that our teachers are equipped with those skills to address the needs of our students. We have after-school program, who also is an extension of the instructional day, and they also provide tutorials. And specifically talking about parents, creating events, engagement events where we have learning. We just had one recently, I think last week, at La Paloma, where they had a STEM learning night, and it was an interactive event where parents are working with their children on STEM activities that are aligned to skills that are going to be assessed on the STAAR assessment. And so all the parents from the different country schools are able to go with the students and go and learn. We've also done created where at the district level we create slide decks with information so that parents know what for each grade level, what the students are going to be learning, what they need to learn, and how it's going to be assessed at the end of the year, what the expectations are. So they have that awareness. We also do monthly luncheons. And so we also take that opportunity, and I'm going to steal a little name from one of our administrators. He called it a lunch and learn. So parents are coming in to have lunch with their child, and we take that opportunity to give them something to learn, give the parents information on the STAAR assessment, the skills and the things that students are learning throughout the year. And then for, I think I covered everything.
Yeah. And I know that it's a big amount
Yes.
of population that we're covering because all students are tested.
Yes.
This is the special education students who are identified as special education
Exactly.
students. We have our migrant students, our bilingual students. All our sub-pops are all tested.
Yes.
And so can you share a little bit about some of those little unique trainings or experiences we offer our students to prepare them for the test?
So we do, specifically, we do provide training because these assessments are the majority of all of them are done online. On rare occasion will we do a paper administration. And so for some of our students, that's a little difficult. And so we want them to be able to use the supports that are available for them on those assessments. And so we provide opportunities for tutorials and practice in class and trainings for teachers. Also for our students who are emergent bilinguals, we also provide opportunities for teachers to learn and be able to implement for students. And we even have people come in and do camps for students to help them be able to overcome those obstacles of the language.
Yeah. And Mr. Pettis, I know you alluded to TEKs. And so the TEKs are the standard of instruction we need to teach our students in every discipline, every grade, every discipline, every subject. And so that's very important for teachers to know. Of course, they know their TEKs for their content and for their grade level. But how important is it for parents to understand that there is a set level of standards that we have to teach every grade?
Speaking as a parent, if I wanted my child to be successful, I needed to know what he needed to know, if that makes any sense. For parents to be involved with their students, it's the utmost important. They shouldn't be afraid to call us and ask, what are we doing with this? What do they need to learn? I know a lot of our teachers share those things with their parents as classrooms where they send out either syllabuses or what is going to be done for the school year. So that everything helps the student. At the end of the day, the success of our students is what we all strive to be. For me, it's always a reminder of what it takes as a district for our students to be successful. I know we have Ms. Cornett here with the curriculum department, but it starts with even me having to communicate with the school board and letting them know, hey guys, these are the things we need, and they support us. To our HR department that, hey, I need a teacher in this classroom. Yes. What are we doing to fill it? To our custodians, from transportation to cafeteria, it takes us all for these students to be successful.
Exactly. And so, Ms. Cornett, we know that we can have beautiful instruction, we have great preparation of our teachers, but the most important thing that I think we need to address is also having students present every day, receiving that instruction. And that is when we talk about attendance, because some instruction, some courses are about scaffolding. So one lesson leads to another, leads to another. So if you miss 3-4 days, you're missing a big gap of the next level. So can you share a little bit of how important it is for us to have our students in class?
It is critical. When students are not in the class, they're not learning. You know, they're just missing instruction, and especially for anything. Well, they all are building upon their comprehensive, right? But especially for math, if you're working on something and they miss out on that skill, it's going to be a little bit harder for them to master the next skill and develop that. And so I cannot stress it enough how important it is to have our students in the classroom. We can work, as teachers, we can work with anything, we can help students, but we can't help them if they're not there for us to support them. And so, and I know as a parent, it's hard, sometimes they don't want to go to school and they don't want to get up in the morning. But sometimes we have to have our children do the things that they don't want to do because we know it's what's best for them. And so we have to, have parent support in getting their children to school. And then we do our part in making sure that we're engaging students and we're motivating students. And most importantly, reminding students that they have the potential to do anything they want. You can accomplish anything with hard work and determination, and know that we are going to fail, and it's okay to fail because we learn from our failures and we don't give up. And so we have to come in again, and it's okay, it's going to be hard, but we are here to support you. We want our students to know they are not alone, and we are here to support them.
Previous to this, for 17 years, I oversaw the attendance and the attendance monitoring of our students, and so I always told parents, get the students into the door and we'll take care of the rest. And so that's kind of what we want to emphasize, is that bring them to school and we will take care of the rest, whether it's support, counseling services they need, or something they need school supplies, anything, but we need them in the class so that they can continue the process of learning. And so that's very important, right, Mr. Pettis, with ensuring that our parents understand that component.
Yes, sir.
There.
Now, Ms. Cornett said it best. We cannot help them if they're not here. And I, as a parent also,
Yep.
it's my responsibility to make sure he is here.
Right.
So that's the help we can ask parents. Please have them here. That's the bottom line.
I totally agree. And so our final question that we have is, what do we need to let the community know about STAAR testing? In other words, how important is it? What does the community need to do to help us in order to get there? Mentorships, support, calling the local schools and say, what can I do to offer my help? Is that something that the community should support us on?
Definitely. I know when we get into our testing modes, we shut down, we don't let anybody in,
Right.
but there's a lot that the community can do before we get to testing. We have a lot of support from different businesses, and they reach out to us and they support our teachers. This is a time of the year too that our teachers stress out.
Yes.
And with great reason to.
Yep.
We try to have them as calm as possible, so whatever we can do to support them, whatever the community thinks they feel they can support us, is always a help. I will take any kind of support we can if it's for our
Yes.
teachers or our students.
And just in closing, just so that our community understands our preparation for STAAR and EOC testing, like Mrs. Cornett alluded to, it starts in the summer. We get the results we had for the previous year. We review the data. We create tutorial services out of that. That's why the importance of tutorials starting in October, usually they start in October, is important for our parents to understand that that's the time that we are identifying the needs that our students and what we can do to catch our students up and also lead them in a pathway to succeed for the year. So ongoing, and then of course our staff development, our meetings, our PLCs, everything that we do during the year leads up to this. We're not preparing like 2 weeks before, we're preparing since August 1st. So any closing thoughts to our panel, and when it comes to STAAR EOC testing, any messages we want to give to our parents in particular when it comes to testing?
I would just like to say, I know, as Mr. Pettis mentioned, this is a very stressful time for our students, for our teachers, for our administrators. But I can wholeheartedly say that everyone has been working so hard. And usually what happens, I'm confident because I've seen the work that has been going on in classrooms and throughout the district, we're going to do really well.
Good.
So know that we're with you and we appreciate everything that you do. Thank you.
Okay. Yes.
I would like to say to parents, as far as attendance, not only is it important to the district, but it's a life skill that the kids need. If they want to be successful in CCMR, they're going to have to show up to college. They're going to have to show up to their job. They're going to have to show up to the military.
Exactly.
So it's very important to instill those habits now. Now, as far as STAAR test, I would see it as an opportunity for parents. Our kids are going to face a lot of challenges in life. And if we teach them to be fearful of it, they're going to fear every challenge in life. So see it more as an opportunity to encourage your student to study and accomplish that challenge of the test, or to score as best as they can. So those are the two things that I would like to leave for parents.
Great. Mr. Pettis, anything to close with?
And just that it takes a village.
Yes.
Everybody needs to know that. It takes all of us for our students to be successful, and that's, we are all sitting here because of them. So, any support we get, teachers hang in there, students, good luck, and we're going to be okay.
Great. Well, I thank each one of you for sharing your thoughts when it comes to our upcoming STAAR and EOC testing. And so in our next segment, we're going to have the individuals that are on the ground, on the boots on the ground, who are looking at the data, preparing our teachers and our administration when it comes to testing. And so we'll be joined with a couple of directors in a few minutes. And again, thank you, you all, for being here with us here today and supporting our students when it comes to STAAR and EOC testing. We welcome everyone back to our Spotlight in Education on our episode for STAAR and EOC testing. Now with us, we have new panelists that will be sharing specific aspects of the STAAR and EOC testing, especially the testing that's coming up for our students in the next couple of weeks. So we have with us our Director of Assessment, Evaluation and Research, Ms. Kathy Abrego. Welcome, Ms. Abrego.
Thank
And
you.
we also welcome our Bilingual Director of Bilingual Education, Ms. Emma Belinda Gonzalez.
Thank you.
And of course with us here is our Assistant Superintendent for Academic Services, Ms. Delia Cornett. So we want to go ahead and follow up with the discussion that we had with our previous segment. And so we know that STAAR testing is coming up and the importance of STAAR testing. And specifically, Ms. Abrego, your task is an immense task when we're looking at testing, because we start from August 1st all the way to July 31st. That's the cycle year we have when we're looking at STAAR testing, because you look at the assessments, you look at the results, you look at the trends, you also look at the research and practices that we need to do in order to improve scores and to support our students. So what is the whole crux of your involvement when it comes to testing? How important is it for you to share that information with our teachers, staff, administrators, so forth?
Well, starting in when we start looking at STAAR, our job at the district level is to ensure that we are in compliance with all state requirements and accountability. So we have protocols, procedures in place. We have trainings for our campus testing coordinators so that they have that successful testing season. But at the end of the day, we do a lot of this housekeeping tasks and stuff at the district office, at the campuses, but it's to ensure that we have the most successful testing environment for our students and our teachers, because they've worked so hard to get there. Because we test our state curriculum, the data that we pull from there is so important, because it's going to allow us to provide interventions when needed to close those gaps, and acceleration. Because we do want to make sure that when our students, we're preparing them, like those kids are already at those levels and we're just pushing them forward and forward. that when they do graduate from high school, they are ready to either go into college, they're ready to go into the workforce, or join the military. So that's our job, and it is immense, and there's a lot of little pieces and stuff that we bring together, but at the end of the day, it's for the students and for their improvement, and so that they leave successfully here from San Benito.
Great. And so can you give us a little bit of an basic overview of the STAAR and EOC assessments that we provide our students, and the importance of preparing for that?
Yes. So STAAR is an online assessment for STAAR and end of course. We do test the state curriculum, and the state curriculum is tested in the areas of reading, math, science, and social studies. In elementary, starting with 3rd and 4th grade, we test in reading and math. And then in 5th grade, we do reading, math, and science. And then in middle school, for 6th and 7th grade, we do reading and math also. And then in 8th grade, we do reading, math, science, and social studies. So we add that social studies component. And then when we start doing end of course, so there are students at 8th grade that are accelerated. So they do begin those end of course courses. And so as we complete those, in 9th grade predominantly, we'll have English 1, Algebra 1, and Biology. And then once they get to 10th grade, they'll test English 2, and then in 11th grade, they test U.S. history. But really important, I do want to make sure that parents do understand, and students, that for our end of course, it is a graduation requirement. They need to pass those tests. So right now, as campuses are doing tutorials, Saturday academies, after school tutorials, that they attend. It's so critical. This is the best time that they have to pass those exams because they're receiving that instruction. So back in December when we did our end of course assessments at VMA in high school, they were doing instructional rounds there. And it was so neat because as a group over here is testing, over here they're doing hands-on activities, and they're really preparing our kids with that last minute like push, like those blitz that are out there. So I do urge parents to really, really speak to your children, and that way they're taking advantage of those opportunities. Also, speak to your children, just like as a parent, you know, I would say, what are you doing at school today? You know, so kind of ask them what they're doing in school, and that way if they are struggling, there's always help here in San Benito. I mean, if it's not us at the district level going over there, the teacher, everybody, paraprofessionals, everybody is always willing to help in San Benito. We just need to know that you need it. You know, for sure. Attendance is so critical right now, especially at the secondary level when you're looking at those end of courses, because they are accelerated classes. So all of that instruction that you would see in the whole year is in one semester. So you miss a day, you miss a week. I mean, it's just so critical that our students do show up and just communicate with them. I don't want them to feel nervous, and that's not my intention for saying this. Like, I definitely want them to just know that there's help. We are here to help them in any way we can.
Great. And when it comes to help, when students receive the results, and so parents are receiving the results, I think that's where the questions come into play, and well, what is the meaning of these results? Can you share a little bit about, any one of our panelists, can you share a little bit about that process? The school receives the results. What happens after that? What are some of the things that principals do?
Go ahead. So our students will receive the results, I think I wrote it down here. It's late May that we receive our results, but those results are preliminary, and they're for us to make decisions on summer school, decisions for graduation, and things like that. The parents will receive the results in July, and I do have a flyer that we will link to this presentation. That way you know the exact dates. But parents can access the results if they log into Skyward, same platform that they use for registering their children in school. So when they log on there, they're going to see a little icon, and it says Texas Assessment. When they click on that, it'll take them to that parent portal, and they'll be able to see all of their state assessments for TELPAS and STAAR. And it's really neat. It's in English and Spanish, so whatever language that they want. And it's really, they've made advancements to that, so it's a total breakdown of all the questions. They're even going in there and they'll click on, like, let's just say the reading test or that English test. They can click on that prompt, and they'll see what their children wrote. So it's really intense now, and it'll explain everything. It'll show them if they didn't pass that they are entitled to receive that accelerated instruction that we provide as a district. If they are at that meets master's level, that they should be in those cohorts that are going to give them that algebra 1 at the middle school. So it's really, really intense now. Definitely we can help desegregate that data, like, any questions that they might have, of course, but it's so self-explanatory now. It's really, really neat.
Great. And of course, this is the local level. They can go to their campus principal, assistant principal, counselor.
Any parent who has any questions on their child's data, the first choice, of course, is going to be the teacher and the campus. They're a resource. But we are at the district level, also the Office of Academics, and any person who's there in the Office of Academics when a parent calls, we are available to go ahead and have a parent and kind of walk them through that data if they have any questions. That's what we're here to do. We're here to serve and support our students and their success and our parents as well.
And I've been around some students that when they explain the results to them, it's just like anything. We want to know how we did on the test.
Exactly.
And so when teachers or principals sit and explain to the student how they did, what areas they excelled and which ones they need improvement on, they have a better understanding of the expectation next time.
And so one of the things, and I'm glad that you brought that up, that we've been incorporating this year is student goal setting. And so what that brings is an awareness for students that they themselves taking ownership and empowering them to know where they are, what are the areas that they need to develop and work on to be successful. And so that is something that throughout the district, in elementary all the way to secondary, at the high school level, we're working with students and empowering them to have that data so they have a better understanding themselves. And then the next step is from there, we have parents coming in and they're able to communicate with their parents and kind of go, this is where I started, this is where I was last year, these are the things I'm going to work on, or this is what I worked on this year, and this is where I am now. It's just, again, a collaborative effort and empowering our students and being able to communicate with our parents.
And Ms. Gonzalez, you are a former principal as well. And so can you share a little bit about when you share those results with parents and family members, how important that communication is to them?
Yes, it is extremely important because our students come to school every day to learn, and many times parents just rely on us and making sure that we are teaching their children and that their children are growing academically. But when they actually get to see the result as a principal or assistant principal, and we sit with the parent and we dialogue based on the results and actually show them how much growth they had from the beginning of the year to the end of the year, or even from a previous year to the current year, it makes a big impact on the parent.
Okay. And Ms. Cornett, as a team, as an academic team, when you sit with Ms. Abrigo and your other academic directors, you sit and you start planning the support, the tutorials, the interventions, what do we need to do for our staff. So can you share a little bit about how Ms. Abrigo's work with the data is important to you so that you'll know what we have to do with our students and staff?
The work that she does, and I have to brag on my academic team. They're an awesome team. They are really fantastic. And we meet often. And so based on the data that Ms. Abrigo, she will train us. She'll go over all the assessment data and kind of break it down for us in layman's terms, so that we have a clear understanding of what's being evaluated and how it's being evaluated and where we are. And then our instructional team starts coming in, our directors for elementary and secondary, our bilingual director, our special ed director, and start looking and saying, okay, what are the gaps that we have and how can we start filling those gaps for our students? How can we support our teachers? Whether it's, coordinating with our director for professional development, Ms. Araiza, and saying, okay, we need to bring in these resources, this PD, or our instructional directors and saying, we need to buy these resources so their teachers have what they need. We need to do this training for teachers or for students. It really is a collaborative effort. We are reflective in practice and we are data driven. So we're looking at data. We know our students are not numbers, but the numbers reflect where our students are academically and what the needs are. So we have to rely on that data to guide us to make strong instructional decisions to meet the needs of our students.
And Ms. Abreu, we do have assessments that we take so we know it's a progression from the beginning of the year, middle of the year, and end of the year, because that's important for us to know what direction we're taking. Correct. Is that correct? Yeah.
Yes, so in the beginning of we do use, of course, our STAAR data from the previous year to gauge where we need to begin. But we also have throughout the year map testing, and map testing does beginning of the year, middle of the year, end of the year, and it'll give us a snapshot of where we're trending, like all these efforts, all these tutorials, changes in instruction. Is it working? Are we reaching what we need to reach? Because if not, then we make those adjustments. And so data is super important. Just like Ms. Cornett said, our students are not numbers. We use the numbers, though, to try to find the need, because we want to make sure that we are targeting those needs. So the assessments, we have to have them, because that's the only way we can be able to provide that instruction.
And we know, Ms. Cornett, the importance right now, especially with TIA. We want our students, we want our teachers to excel in the classroom, and so it's important for teachers to know the data. So you're important in terms of the data that they need in order to measure growth, because TIA is about growth. Is that correct?
Yes, in our district, that's what we focus on, student growth. And so, you know, teachers are, when they're applying for the TIA, or when they're doing the TIA, and Ms. Abrego is the one who does a lot of that work there with Ms. Araiza, they go ahead and are able to take a look at where their students are, and we're looking at growth specifically. So we're not having the same expectation or standard for each child, because each child is different. And so we're saying, you know what, we're not going to say they all have to be at this point, but this is where the students are. And we just want to make sure that every year our students are growing and making gains. You know, for students who are struggling a little bit, we want those gains to be a little bit higher, but we want all of our students to be making academic gains. And this is where we're able to recognize our teachers, and we have an event coming up really quick, to recognize all of the teachers and all the hard work that they're doing.
That is a big thing across Texas now, is the teacher incentive allotment. And so that's the goal that teachers have in order to receive some kind of compensation, but it is successful when it's measuring the success of our students.
Right.
And so that's important there. And so again, when we're looking at testing, it has to be done. It's something we have to do, but it's about everything coming together. It's kind of like a recipe.
Exactly.
You need a little bit of this, a little bit of that. It's everybody that it needs to do that. The STAAR testing is not just Mrs. Abrego's responsibility.
Right.
It's everyone in the, not only academics, it's also operations, it's also everybody in our district has to support our students.
One of the things we say, and I share with the team, it's a shared responsibility. We all have a shared responsibility to ensure student success. When our students are not successful, we've dropped the ball. And so it's important that we all share in that accountability and know that we have a part to play in ensuring our student success.
Thank you. En estos momentos vamos a comenzar estar aquí dándoles información necesaria a los padres y las familias que necesitan información en español tocante las pruebas de STAAR y de EOC. Entonces, Mrs. González, directora de Servicios de Bilingüe, Educación Bilingüe del distrito, ¿nos puede dar un poco información tocante la importancia que tienen que saber los padres, las familias, tocante las preparaciones y también el examen de STAAR y EOC?
Sí, bueno, como ya se discutió en este momento, este examen es un examen, son exámenes importantes que el Estado provee, y como dije antes, es para asegurarnos que los niños crezcan académicamente como debe ser. Y estos exámenes se presentan en línea. Los alumnos empiezan a tomar sus exámenes desde el 3er grado. Empezamos con 3º y 5º en la primaria, donde todos estos alumnos presentan el examen de lectura y el de matemáticas, y ya estando en 5º le agregamos el de ciencias. Y así va subiendo un poquito más. Ya cuando llegan a la intermedia, a la escuela intermedia de 6, 7 y 8, allí también los alumnos presentan el examen de lectura y matemáticas, pero ya en 8º grado se le agrega las ciencias y el estudios sociales. Después tenemos los exámenes que son los final de curso, que ya son los alumnos que están posiblemente en el grado 8 a 12, y estos exámenes se presentan según las clases que tomaron. Se presenta el de inglés 1 y 2, álgebra, biología y estudios sociales. Esos son los exámenes que tenemos para los alumnos en nuestro distrito.
Y para el comité que están aquí, ¿qué es la importancia que tenemos que saber, tienen que saber los padres, los familiares de los estudiantes que están tomando los exámenes STAAR? ¿Qué es lo más importante que tienen que saber?
Lo más importante es que esto es una cosa seria, es un examen que nos mide la calidad de instrucción que estamos proveyendo a nuestros alumnos. La otra importancia que tenemos que hacer y que como padres tenemos que tomar mucho en cuenta es la asistencia. Si los alumnos no están presentes, no podemos prepararlos para estos exámenes. Entonces, todo empieza ahí. Es algo sencillo, pero que a veces puede ser complicado si nuestros hijos no quieren ir a la escuela, pero como deber de padre es asegurarnos de que los alumnos estén presentes a diario, que tengamos buena comunicación no solo con el alumno, pero también con el maestro, el director o las personas del distrito, para que sepamos qué es lo que nuestros alumnos necesitan, empezando de la temprana edad hasta que salgan de la high school, porque queremos que estén preparados no solamente para el examen, pero que estén preparados para ser unas personas de bien, porque son nuestro futuro y estas personas van a dirigir nuestros hospitales un día, van a dirigir nuestras escuelas. Entonces, nuestro deber es prepararlos y nuestros padres es apoyarnos.
También. Y también es importante que los padres también saben que cada estudiante es diferente. Tenemos el apoyo necesario para los estudiantes que necesitan la ayuda o que están en la educación especial. Son específicamente, es instrucción específicamente para ellos y lo que ellos necesitan también.
Sí, todos los alumnos se toman en cuenta, como dice usted, Mr. González. Vemos si son alumnos bilingües, si son alumnos que tienen alguna discapacidad o que participan en diferentes, pueden ser bilingües, dotados y también educación especial. Un solo alumno puede presentar todas estas situaciones, pero nosotros nos encargamos de asegurarnos de que todos nuestros alumnos sean vistos como debe de ser de manera equitativa, en de que todos reciban la mejor instrucción posible.
Y también para los estudiantes que necesitan el apoyo de educación bilingüe también, ¿verdad?
Así es.
Porque todos los estudiantes toman la prueba de STAAR y de EOC.
Todos los alumnos, empezando en tercer grado, así es.
Sí, entonces es importante, cada padre o familiar que está apoyando a los estudiantes, sus estudiantes, entonces es una de las más importantes cosas que tienen que hacer es saber qué apoyo necesita, qué servicios necesitan para que puedan tener éxito. Y tenemos los programas aquí, los servicios aquí en el distrito para hacer para apoyar a los estudiantes.
Sí, y la otra recomendación que podemos dar a nuestros padres es que cuando vayan a presentar los exámenes estén atentos de que va a haber exámenes y que se aseguren que los alumnos estén bien descansados por la noche antes de presentar el examen y que se vayan temprano a la escuela para ser alimentados o prepararles algo especial ese día porque es un día especial. Uno cree es otra prueba, no, es algo importante y especial.
Y también queremos darles que los servicios comienzan desde septiembre a octubre. Los tutorials, que se llaman tutorials, están allí por una razón. Están allí porque necesitan los estudiantes atender esas sesiones para que le puedan ayudar a avanzar y también tener preparados para los exámenes. Pero también hay exámenes que tomamos durante el año, el primer del año, el mediano de año y luego el fin del año también.
Así es, todos los alumnos son monitoreados durante todo el año para asegurarnos que estén preparados para la prueba final.
Okay. Y qué importante es los padres saber los resultados o si hay preguntas tocando los resultados de esos exámenes, ¿cómo pueden comunicar?
Pues en mi opinión, la persona más inmediata con la que se pueden comunicar sería con el director o la directora de la escuela, pero si aún no queda claro, estamos todos disponibles en el distrito, todos estamos a sabiendas qué es lo que es el STAAR y qué representa y cómo leer los resultados de cada alumno y todos nosotros podemos ayudarles a entender la calificación.
Y estamos aquí unidos con un pensamiento, es que atendencia es uno de los más importantes. Podemos tener los salones de instrucción listos, los maestros preparados para los exámenes, para enseñar lo que necesitan enseñar, pero cuando no están presentes los estudiantes en los salones o en las escuelas, entonces hay falta ahí, ¿verdad? Ya, entonces, ¿quiere tomar un mensaje final para los...
Pues vuelvo a repetir, la más importante es la asistencia. Los niños tienen que estar presentes a diario. Los maestros trabajan fuertemente para dedicarles el día a los alumnos. Cada día que falta un alumno pierde 450 minutos de instrucción, que ya otro día es un poquito difícil de darle todo lo que ya se aprendió un día antes. Entonces, ahí la clave es estar presentes.
Okay. Gracias a los padres que necesitan esa información en español. Si necesitan más información tocante a los exámenes STAAR o todo lo que están recibiendo de instrucción sus estudiantes en el distrito, puede llamar a los directores de la escuela o pueden llamar al Departamento de Académicas en San Benito y estamos aquí para servirles a ustedes también. So at this time, we're going to go ahead and wrap up. Just any final thoughts, Ms. Abrigo, any important dates that are coming up? What are we looking at to finish the year? And then it also goes into summer as well.
Correct.
For some aspects.
Yeah, so our STAAR test is coming up. On April 8th. We're going to do our 3 through 8 reading and our English 1. The very next day, April the 9th, we're going to have our English 2 exam. That following week, on Tuesday, April the 15th, we're going to do science, 5th and 8th grade, and biology. The very next day, April the 16th, we're going to have our U.S. history end of course and our 8th grade U.S. history test. The following week, and there's an Easter break there, so we need to make sure that, they're attentive and back, yes, for sure. That very next week on Wednesday, we're going to wrap up our testing with 3rd through 8th math and algebra 1. So those are our important dates. For our students that are taking end of course exams, we hope and pray that everyone does well in it, but just in case they don't, there is another opportunity in the summer. So right in June, they'll be able to come to summer school, receive some of that instruction, that tutorials, and they'll have that other opportunity to take that end of course exam.
And testing has changed a little bit for the past couple of years in terms, years ago we used to test all week long. Right. And so we would get all the tests out in a week. And I guess the state realized that it's a lot for the students, for the staff. Right. And so it's been spread out through a number of weeks, 3-4 weeks that it extends. But it's still very important for them to attend those days as well.
Yes, sir. So it's really a 2-week window. So when we start that 3rd through 8 reading, for example, it'll start there on that Tuesday. And then we have, just for those kids that maybe, that maybe they have the flu. And so they're out for that week. And so we'll test them, we'll capture them that following week. But it's when we went to online testing, and online testing facilitated that 2-week window that they're giving us.
Great. So there's a lot of opportunity for the student to take the test. We want them on the dates because that's very important because everyone's ready and prepared for them.
I was going to say, just for parents, just keep follow your campus Facebook page, the class dojo, if that's the mode of communication. We have external and internal communication methods, and to keep up with that, to kind of keep abreast of what services are being offered, whether it's tutorials, to also be aware of what the testing date is for your specific student, because it varies by grade level and content area. And then the other one I would like to say is, do not be afraid to call if you have questions. We are here again to serve, and so call your school administrator, contact the Office of Academics. If you have any questions regarding testing dates or what the data is, what does it mean once you get the results, do not be afraid we are partners in your child's success with you. We are your partner, and so know that we are here available to you if you have any questions on anything.
Thank you, Ms. Cornett. Thank you everyone for being here today to discuss this very important milestone that we have coming up in a couple of weeks. And so we will be sharing this data online. We'll present it on our websites. The campuses will also be sending out information through their communication modes of communication, whether it be Class Dojo or their social media. pages. As a district level, we're also going to be sharing out the testing dates information, anything that's supporting STAAR and EOC testing during the next couple of weeks. For the month of April, we'll be doing that at the district level as well. So again, thank you everyone. Thank you, Ms. Cordet. Thank you, Ms. Abrego. Thank you, Ms. González. Gracias para estar aquí hablando en español. Fue la primera vez que tenemos información en español. Ojalá que en unos más episodios que tenemos aquí en Spotlight in Education, lo podemos hacer en español también. Gracias para apoyarnos en esa manera. So thank you, everyone. Again, we want parents and for our students as well to remember to do well, attend school every day, and know that we are here to support you. You have questions, please contact your local campus principal, administration, the district level as well. So we want everyone to know that we're here to support, and we wish everyone the best of luck this testing season. And we still have one month to go after testing, so the year hasn't ended. So it's still very important for us to attend every school every day to enjoy the whole system of what we have here at San Benito Schools. Again, thank you for joining us here today.